Bonus time. Are any of your teams in the double bonus yet in the first half? Jay Smooth, how's your game going, man?
No. Well, it's actually going about as well as one might expect with how my picks have been going recently on the site. But yeah, no, we're not doing too hot. We need some Arlington buckets. We're down 13 right now. It was a lot worse. They've actually started scoring a little bit, so maybe we're gonna have a chance here in the second half. It's not totally impossible to make a 9-point run in college basketball. We see it all the time. But anyway, we are live with a little market movers surprise episode. We have a lot to talk about today. Tomorrow's going to be a smaller slate. Not sure if we're going to be here tomorrow, but 60 games, 7 conferences tournaments playing. We have like 20 something games in the playoffs. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. I have 15 picks today. I think I've shared about 4. So yeah, there's a lot of meat on the bone for me. As annoying as this Louisiana Lafayette game's probably going to be, it's just one of many. So you know what? We take losses. We go on to the next, just the good old sports line curse. But I'm watching this live line. I really feel like I should have gotten 14.5. That probably felt pretty generous. But let's pull up some model projections. Let's talk about some of the big games. I know you like a couple plays. Your model has about 14, 15 edges itself. So there's a lot here today. Man, they're just going to the line now. I'm just gonna stop watching. This one's probably just done, honestly. We're not gonna have a good show if I'm just sitting here sweating at a bet in the first half. You shouldn't sweat a bet until the last 5 minutes.
Fair.
You just really shouldn't. There's no point to be sitting here worrying about it. I placed the bet analytically. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. All right. Let's get to it. Let's put up this thing on the screen.
Let's bring them up.
Cool.
First game. This one is interesting. You're very clear where I'm at on it. And that's going to be with Iowa +2. I'm very curious to see if we get any line movement in either direction this afternoon. I'm going to pull up the latest odds right now and see if we've gotten anything so far. I don't think that we have.
Yeah. Nothing crazy. I know I put it in at 2.
Okay, we are starting to get. This is what I thought we were going to get, which is why I haven't posted about it yet. It is 2.5 on DraftKings at -115, which is good to see that it's not -120. It tells me that we should see 2.5s -110 at some point today.
Yep.
Now, it wouldn't shock me if once it gets to that point, if it gets hammered all the way back to 1.5 before close. Like, that's not going to shock me at all either. I think that we have some very clear. I shouldn't say clear. It's clear that there are very strong opinions on both sides.
Yes.
Sharp people on both sides of this game. I like Iowa. I like Iowa 2.5 points. I like it a lot better than with 2 personally. Yep. It's fine to sprinkle the money line, play the money line if you want to. The problem is the money line is only +115 currently on DraftKings, which tells you some people have been betting there. I would expect that to be
120
around 125.
Yeah,
typically. So interesting distribution of where it makes a ton of sense.
I like taking the points here for sure. I put Iowa on the site. I get, which probably means it's going to lose. But I think they're looking to get a big win here, and Michigan's coming off of a huge win against Sparty, right? At home, no Juwan Howard. Like, this is a good letdown spot against an Iowa team that has what it takes, is probably the better team on a neutral court. Yeah, I think this is probably the way to take it. I like the +2, +2.5 is even better. I mean, again, that's adding you that extra win condition, which is great. But I do have +2 on my sheet, and I'm very happy about it. I think the wrong team's favored. And Michigan hasn't won a single close spread all year. Like, there's been 6 games where the line's been between -4 and +4 for the Wolverines in either direction. They've won none of them. So every time that they're supposed to be in a close game, they don't cover. So they could easily lose by 1 tonight. They could win by 1 tonight. I'll take it. Definitely a nice play there. And to start the day off too. But all right, Washington, Oregon, I thought was a pretty easy skip here.
Yeah.
Not really anything I'm interested in. Oregon on the road, not going to be a fun one. I'd probably stay away. Ohio State, Michigan State, I kind of felt the same way. I mean, I know your model always sort of has a little bit of a lean on Michigan State based on how they play, the way the team's built. I don't know.
Yep.
Would you take that on a 2-point edge?
I don't love it. So I don't like it as much as I like the Iowa position. That's for sure. I tell you the spot, which we don't love teasing anything other than the NFL, frankly. But we do play some calculated edges in some what we call donkey parlays or some of these calculated parlays. One of them that I don't mind in this spot is getting Michigan State plus 12.5 plus 13 with Iowa plus 8.5, maybe plus 9 later, if this, depending on where the movement is.
Okay.
I do have some interest in those lines and those legs being in some of your alternative parlays if you want to. I'm expecting competitive games in both of them for sure.
Definitely. Me too. Kansas TCU. I mean, your model leans TCU. I know there's some sharp people on that side.
I'm nervous about that one.
They beat Kansas already, right?
In the last game, it's a rematch. They just played each other.
Right. So does Kansas bounce back and destroy them? Are they content with beating them in one game and let the domination happen, or are they going to be out there fighting for a second close one? Like this is a tough game to handicap.
This is one that I will be fading my own model on personally. Maybe I'd look to play this one live for sure, but it's a huge number. At the new number, what's the new number is over 12 now. At that point, then I become interested in TCU. The difference here is Kansas is playing at home. They're good at Allen Fieldhouse. It's a tough spot to go in and win a game, especially against a team that just beat you, especially against teams that still know each other relatively well.
Right.
This line was Kansas -6 on the road. Now it opened at -10.5. That was not accounting for the home court at all.
Yeah.
Which is why you see Kansas getting steamed from 10.5 to 12. Once you get to 12, I'm slightly interested in TCU just because it's still difficult to pull away more than that. It's not going to shock me, though. So I'm likely going to stay away. I'm likely going to stay off of this one. The model Video Ken, if you listen to me explain, I am explaining why. But if you know more than I do about it, then kindly exit because you're not needed here. But yeah. So,
come on, UT Arlington. I want to go in in double digits here. 26 seconds in the ball. Live line. Let's go. It is. Who would have thought I'd be excited with a 9-point deficit? Who would have thought? And a miss from Lafayette with 15 seconds. Arlington rebound. Oh my God. But yeah, no, there are definitely, you need to learn how your own model works. That's, I think, the best way to say it. Like, there are definitely spots where models have problems, and I think you can model your own model, if that makes sense, right? You can analyze your own model. But I don't know, if you know that your model struggles somewhere, then you can like actively use that to predict wins. I don't think that is still using like your system to profit. So
for sure. Fine. The most important thing is, frankly, knowing when to not play a game.
Yeah, and consistency in results, right?
Yeah.
So, look, welcome to the show. How am I watching the game? I think it's on ESPN Plus. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not watching the game. I'm watching the StatCast. We will take going in down 9. I think that is a big recovery after being down 17. We only need a 6-point win in the second half to cash. So they definitely felt like that. But I don't know. Yeah, we can keep going. I'm not really trying to get into a discussion about. I'm getting a phone call from my girlfriend who does not know that I'm streaming because I didn't tell anybody. We didn't tell anybody, Mike. But yeah,
I love this guy.
Hey, stop. Literally 2 words. I streaming. I'd like, um, sorry, everybody. Anyway, let's go. Donkey did not hit yesterday because of the heaviest line. Because the heaviest line, Alabama. And that's just how it goes. Welcome to Donkeys. Streaming. Yeah, you know it. But all right, let's get back into business here. Let's keep talking about some of these games. The lowest total I think we've seen in a couple weeks here, Mike. 111 projected, 115.5 is the line. Your model's still saying go under this number with one of the craziest defenses we've seen in San Diego State. This is fascinating. Do you trust it? Do you like the under here with a couple points?
So I do, but the caveat with this number and these teams is only bet it if you're prepared to follow the game. Just based on how the game's going, you can easily live bet and add to positions, cover positions, things like that with this team. So I only bet San Diego State unders, which we do it a ton, very, very frequently. But I only am willing to do it when I'm able to follow the game, watch the live numbers, and I typically end up with multiple plays on the game. And sometimes it might be a live over this particular spot. It can be another live under after that, but I typically end up with at least 2, sometimes as many as 5 plays.
Smaller units. Right?
Yes, definitely.
Like 0.1s, 0.05s.
So you have to watch that with this team, with this number, because while it is low and while we do have an edge on it, they're still super fragile numbers.
I mean, it only needs to get if San Diego State scores 65 here, we're in trouble. That's the problem. So yeah, this is really low. We'll probably stay away. But yeah. All right, guys. We're not going to keep going into the model stuff. Don't worry about it, Ken. We appreciate you hanging out. I think Mike just, we just, it's what we do, and we know it's not an insult. Don't worry about it. But all right. Let's keep going. Cincy. Okay, this is fascinating, man. Cincy's won 6 or 7 straight games against SMU, and nobody seems to care. Because analytically, SMU should win, but does Cincy have their number? Would I grab UT 8.5 for a unit? No, I would have taken it at 12.5 10 minutes ago. I'd probably, if you have 3.5 right now, definitely not a full unit if you want to take something small. But I don't know. They did look good at the end. But anyway, Cincinnati has been winning this matchup, but yeah, they haven't been good. So you want to know what I did here, Mike? I didn't play it. I left it alone.
I was encouraged by it. I totally get why people want to play SMU -7. This is one of those ones, again, speaking, not to go into the model too much, but when you see it, I was thrilled that I didn't have to play this game.
Yep.
And I know that sounds weird watching it or listening to this, maybe when you oh, why are you happy that you don't get to bet a game that you maybe thought you were going to get to?
Mm-hmm.
And that's because that's the point of the model here, right? And the model came in at 7.3 on this game, and I'm thrilled because my head says this line should be 12, and everyone's head says this line should be 12, and everyone's expecting a double-digit SMU win here. And I'm dead on the total for the most part. I think it's around 141 at most books. I'm very happy to pass on it because you're right.
Do you know how many straight games it's been for SMU that they've lost Cincinnati? I know you don't care. I know you don't care either. But it's 10.
That's crazy.
It's 10 straight meetings that Cincinnati has won this matchup. Man, that is nuts. That goes beyond analytics at some level. Sure. Yes, might they win this game and get it done? But why I really pause on this, I don't think SMU is going to give a crap about winning by 8 points. I don't. Their goal here today is to get a goddamn win against this team for SMU. They have not beaten this Cincy team these kids were in high school, in middle school. They didn't even know that they might play college ball. Well, maybe they did, but these kids were like, no idea they'd be on Cincy. They didn't care, but this is a huge deal. Or they didn't know they'd be on SMU, but this is a huge deal. SMU's probably going to go out there, try to get the money line win. I don't trust them to get 7.5 here. I think they'll happily settle for a 6-point win. Same kind of crap we saw. Yeah, look, the same type of way we saw like freaking GW last night. They were up 7 on Duquesne in overtime, and they just cared about winning, right? So they let Duquesne drive right in and lay a bucket up, and we lose a bet on a -6.5. But you know what? That's the problem, right? And Mike, even you said this to me too. It's like the bigger the spread is, the further away we get from being in line with what a team cares about. Teams aren't looking at spreads and like, oh guys, we got to score 5 more points so that the people who bet on us aren't angry. Like, no, they got to get out with a win. Sometimes bigger wins matter against worse teams for like conference seedings and like trying to get into the dance and not only beating a crappy team by 2. But you got to try to position yourself with these players. They're probably just going out there to beat Cincinnati, and covering 7.5 seems like a stretch.
Yeah. This is a great question because I want to address it. So for me, the answer is no. The reason why
it's not analytically in the model, right? Like we don't have an analytical edge. So
the reason why we like Michigan State or Iowa in those donkey legs is because we have the model edge required to, definitely in the Iowa case, to bet it against the spread without teasing it. So that is where we want to really magnify that edge that we have by playing it in that alternate spread situation. But when we have no model edge on it at 7.3, that's typically not going to be a spot where I would want to tease with the dog. If I were wanting to tease at that point, I would basically be teasing it down to the SMU money line if I needed to. Mm-hmm. But it's a very clear stay away. So what I want to look for in those donkey legs, they're almost always going to be situations like that with the favored team winning,
right?
Or the dog, or in both cases where we have that edge that basically should be played on the spread where it is anyway.
But yeah, I think actually going the other way. Yeah. Again, I would want to, if you want a donkey play, I think taking SMU to win the game is a decent leg because again, they're expected to win by 7. Mike's model agrees, right? So it's not like this is it's not a value money line, but it's still probably a correct one. And they probably should get this game done. But I don't know if they're going to cover the 7.5. It seems a little big here for what the surrounding is. But as Edward's saying, this is really fascinating. I think maybe that happens a little in the middle of a conference. Top teams jockey for seeds. They want big things. And maybe if they're like, they start getting hurt, that's where that comes into play. But that's it.
So I definitely think that is true. If you followed yesterday in the Sportsline underdog, I was responsible for the dog part of it, which was the Clemson game with Georgia Tech. And some of my analysis on that basically was one of Clemson's best players dealing with an injury. They are not making the tournament unless they win their way in through the conference tournament, essentially. So this final like regular season game at that point, there was no reason for them to rush him back when they need him healthy for the conference tournament coming up. He didn't end up playing. So that kind of stuff, definitely look out for that in these games.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, SMU does have a really nice home record this year. But again, there's a little bit more to this, right? SMU, where they're located in
Dallas area.
In Dallas. Yeah. So there's not like this is some weird rivalry, but they have been in this conference for a while. They do know each other. And again, it could be coaching. It could be their styles of play, right? Maybe they just don't match up in terms of the way that they move the ball. And Cincy's defense just, has that right type of look to interfere with what, they're trying to do. Some teams are like really heavy off of pick and roll motions. And maybe that's what Cincinnati can really cover. And so they're stuck without one of their facets to their offense. Like there's such intricacies to college basketball because there's 350 goddamn teams that you literally like, it's hard to know if you're walking into a matchup where like maybe one team's way of attack just really doesn't doesn't work with the other's defense. I think it's their home winning record. I can find you the stat. I know Larry quoted it in his write-up here. He said, oh, that's the where. Anyway, who cares?
Yeah,
Let's
you
go on
have
to the
to be
next.
careful. I want to point that out too for
Yeah,
everyone.
sure.
Which is a big reason why I don't put a ton of weight into trends like that,
Yeah.
because you don't know when it says Sportsline says SMU is 8-6 at home against the spread. That can be true, but the markets are so efficient that that number can change pretty drastically based on whether that's an opening line or a closing line.
Yes. And most of these
For
lines
those
are
trends.
closing lines, right? So
Right.
most statistics are with the number that the final bet is taken at. So if you beat lines by getting lines early, like sometimes, SMU might be worse. If you get lines early, that might be better. It's definitely something really interesting and hard to quantify. We try with closing line value metrics, but at the end of the day, like, it's really just your record. And I don't know, there definitely should be a cool betting system that tells you how many like games of this team, like an efficiency rating, like how many times line movement has shifted the results for this team, like how many times they've been within X amount of the spread. Like that's very interesting to me. So I don't know, something to definitely pay attention to, something that has become something I'm more aware of. Is there a website that shows their records? I don't think there is, Drew. I really don't know that there is. If you find one, my man, please let me know, because it would be valuable information. I know that Action App does show the opening line and the current line. That's something that I use in my calculations, and I do look at line movement on certain apps. I think Covers and like Odds Checker, or maybe I don't know. Maybe you know what.
And you run into a similar issue with that too, just because some of the opening lines last for 5 minutes.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and
Right.
they're released at different times.
A line
It's
can
so hard to track.
open. A line can open at like -4, and then like it gets hammered so fast that the books change it within 3 seconds. And because usually what happens is lines go out with limits, right? Like within the first hour or so, you cannot go put the house on a line. Books test the water. They put limits on their lines so that you cannot like blow them out on a bad cap. And then they start to get a sense of which way it's going to go. They move it that way a little bit. They lift the restrictions. You're allowed to put more money in. The line starts to take shape. And then you finally find the efficient number as more and more volume comes in. But yeah, so what that means though is that you could see a line opening at +4 and then it's at +5.5. And you're like, oh, well, it moved 1.5, but it actually jumped to 5 within 3 minutes. And it actually has only moved half a point. So there's so much going on. And it really takes some immersion to start to figure out how to interpret it all, I think. But we've barely touched on my plays. This is one of them, though. Arizona State, California. I am taking the points with California, 7.5. Your model agrees, Mike. I think this is a very interesting pick here. Cal just got that very interesting win against Stanford, right? There was like 70 points in that game. This one I think is going to be Cal. 7.5 seems too big. I know people like that Arizona State team, but I don't know. 2.5 possessions. Do you think this is a good one? Do you think this is a place where you'd sort of ignore your model? I liked it before I saw your model. I liked it after I saw your model. So I don't know. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, this is one that I personally do agree with. Still obviously tough spots, but I do like this team at this point in the year getting the number of points at. It is a road game, but
yeah,
when you're looking at dogs like this too, I really like the teams that have a slower pace of play. Arizona State has not had a significant home court advantage this season, so it's more of a closer to a neutral site environment. I'll lean that way. I think it's a strong donkey parlay type leg. Let me see what I can actually get that. What's up?
Teasing it up.
Yes. An alt line with the points. Looks like you can bring it up to like 13.5. That is a number that I would feel very, very comfortable with. Yeah.
Interesting question from John here. If when your model lines up with a sports book, like how it does with football, do you ever go both directions and try to hit the like efficiency middle with like that 14-point cushion? I'm just gonna guess your answer is going to be no, because NFL is the most efficient betting market there is, and college basketball
Yeah.
is nothing near. So
Yeah, nothing near. Basketball in general with totals is going to be very dependent on the game. Officiating has a massive impact on every sport, really, but definitely
yes,
in this sport. What I would say, and we've toyed with it a little bit. We obviously just not enough hours in the day to do everything the way that I want to do it.
tell me about it.
But what some of those plays would look like would be, say we have a model edge of like 8 points on the over in the game, and a neutral type situation on a like 7 to 8 point spread. So what we would look at doing then is take the favorite on the money line,
Right.
take the underdog with a little bit of an alt line and bring them up to like plus 12, and then take the over on a slight alternate line that brings it down to make our total edge around 12 points as well. Doing distributions like that, bringing you probably plus 160 to plus 200 range in a same game parlay. The issue is you can't do it for every game. Most sports books don't let you, other than like FanDuel and DraftKings, are where you're going to be able to do it. But I do believe that you can be profitable doing that. The requirements, though, will be, of course, having that initial edge in the simulation on the total.
Agreed. It's definitely a little tricky in basketball in general, and it does take a pretty specific scenario. But all right, very interesting game here coming up is Illinois Penn State. I mean, this one kind of confounds me. I passed. This I feel like it's a sharp line. Illinois probably gets this done, but and Penn State has looked a little lackluster against the good teams. But here's the thing. I feel like this is a trap, right? Public loves to keep fading teams off of bad losses, and Penn State just took a bad loss to Nebraska. So I think you're seeing a lot of value against Illinois here by taking a team that just took an embarrassing loss to one of the worst teams in the country because of just how tough it is to stomach that line. Like when you're like, oh man, didn't they just lose to Nebraska? I can't take a team that just lost to Nebraska. Ding, 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 take that team, because you're thinking like everybody, all the squares, right? Like that's the easy way to think. So the contrarian method is definitely to go and take the team that just had a bad loss. And I'm going to do that a little later in one of my plays. So yeah, that's how I would lean on this one, but definitely a pass.
Yeah. I'm passing on it as well. It's why I think it's maybe the closest to market.
Super accurate. It's literally probably me 12 or 13. Like I would maybe play a margin there, you know. That could be a fun bet. I don't really play those much, but they're fun little sprinkles. We did sprinkle on that overtime hit, so that was kind of crazy. But I don't know. Did you want to maybe make Cal plus 7.5 a sports line play, a market movers play?
We can.
Yeah, I think we should.
Can.
Yeah. I know, there's a few on your list and my list, your list of edges, my list of plays that match up pretty well. Cal's definitely one of them. So we'll definitely do Cal plus 7.5 as one of the plays for the show today. Put a little money where our mouth is for that one. All right. Probably skip South Florida, Memphis. Probably gonna be slow.
Yeah.
If South Florida has any chance to keep it within the spread, they're gonna slow it down. So I see a lot of a correlation here between the under and the underdog, and then the favorite and the over.
Yeah. Ken has a question.
The teaser bet, you go to alternate lines. Usually DraftKings has it for some games, bigger conferences, Power 5 conferences most of the times. FanDuel too, it's harder to get them on the small games occasionally, but you go and you can take alternate lines in a parlay. So you'll have, if you have like plus 3.5, you can go get like plus 6.5 for like minus 210 and plus 9.5 for like minus 300 or something usually. You said Sportsline plays for your larger wagers. Is that true for plays you mentioned in here? Well, at this point in the season, I'm kind of spreading everything out pretty evenly. just because like I have 15 plays today. I mean, the thing is, it's complicated, right? The sports line plays are official plays, so they're like they're my big plays. They're the ones that I have selected to put on the site. But if you want to bet the way that I would like best recommend with everything I put out, I would take them all evenly, like without a doubt. Like that's the way that my system succeeds, is take everything, like if you want to follow Mike's, like, yeah, we have the Cal, and yeah, you can put, a bigger bet on that. But like, if you wanted to do it, like the, I guess, traditional model method is to take every single one and evenly distribute, or distribute based on edge size relatively. That takes a lot of time. We haven't really done that much, Mike and I, but yeah, I would probably go like blanket 0.2 across the 15 picks and risk 3 units, or maybe 0.4 and risk like, 4.5 units on a big day. It's tough. It's tough to know what to do. I love taking the single plays and trying to choose the ones to get winners for everybody on Sportsline. But, I technically have 15 picks today, and my systems kind of like them all the same. So the reason that you see me kind of suck on Sportsline is because you're asking me to do it instead of my computers, which is why I make my computers do my betting. But all right. The Oakland one is interesting here today. I agree. It's not on your Sims, Mike. Passed on it because Wright State has kind of had their number. Oakland's been a little wishy-washy this season. Anyone who's watched Oakland, I mean, confusing as hell. What was that IUPUI? They let IUPUI cover that game. I just don't know where they're at. I want to try to find things I'm confident in betting on and that I have edges on. This one, I thought I couldn't really find much of an edge. I can actually look at maybe some other betting numbers really quick. Let's see. I've really been enjoying Sagarin and Shot Quality. Shout out to both of those. Shot Quality, really great. Just getting started. Obviously, Jeff Sagarin, a pillar of USA Today's sports for years. But this one with Oakland, let's see what Shot Quality says today.
Yeah, I didn't run it.
So. Yeah, I know you didn't. Shot Quality is a 1.6 point win for Wright State. So yeah, I definitely lean the points. I think that's fair. 4.5 for this game. So yes, Cal's going to be an official market movers play today if you're just joining us. Sagarin has it as a pick'em. Yep. Thanks, sir. I definitely lean taking these points. They kind of got a little embarrassed at that IUPUI. So, and please don't tell me this. Please don't get me excited, Caleb. Please, like I don't want to have my heart broken. But yeah, look at that. Only down 5, Mikey.
5-point game.
We in it, boys. Let's fucking go. All right, that's how I get. But anyway, South Florida, Memphis. I think you pass on, lean under, underdog, correlated play, maybe a tease parlay. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Troy. What's up, dude? Let's go. We need this. What a run. New game. It's a new game. It's literally a new game. The spread is down 2 points. We're fine. We'd love to see it. Welcome to D1. March, baby. Manhattan, Iona. I think Iona. This is interesting, right? Because Manhattan's coach is sorry, Michael. We'll get a bleep button for my ass. But I'm excited. Look, I'm just excited. Sorry. Where was I? Oh yeah, Manhattan, Iona. So the coach for Manhattan is like a disciple here of Rick Pitino. And I think that makes it a little bit more personal, more likely that they sort of press the gas to the end. And we kind of saw that in the first meeting. I like Iona, but I think they can limit this Manhattan team, but we have seen that they can hit their shots. The model does normally lean on the over, but Iona's defense has kind of made it probably a little more reasonable. 150. I think the line's like 146. We can leave it alone. It's 142. That's a pretty solid edge, Mike. Do we like it? Do we like the 7.5 points here? 7.7.
I mean, like you're talking Manhattan still, yeah? Yeah. Manhattan is a team much like UMass that we typically like their overs. feel way more comfortable about an alt line on it, and paired with something else personally. But I do lean that way pretty heavily. Let me check one more thing before I fully commit on that.
I got to turn some lights on. I didn't even realize that my lights on. I'm sorry.
Manhattan, Iona. Yeah, let's see.
There we go. That's better. Now we can see me.
I do lean that way. I'm curious about the Iona team total. If that's going to be a slightly bigger edge, I need to find here.
All right. Yeah, I think that could be an interesting way to play it. Actually, I really like that.
The Iona team total is 76.5.
Well, how's this Manhattan defense been? So they allowed 73 to St. Peter's, they allowed 66 to Fairfield, 74 to Marist, 78 to Ryder, 67 to Fairfield on the road. Yeah, I think Iona's going to do this. Yeah, probably going to do it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. We can make it an official play if you'd like to. I just need to grab it here if we're going to do that.
I'm about to actually. I only been drinking water this morning, but I am about to crack a nice cold Coca-Cola, which is like one of my guilty pleasures. I'm so bad about it. And I'm moving in with my girlfriend in a week, so I know that she's not going to let me drink it nearly as much. So I'm just like completely degenerately drinking soda for the last time in my life, which is hilarious. But hey, cheers, baby. Let's go. Come on, UTA. All right. Yeah, I like this play. I'll let you make the decision. If you want it, we can go team total over on Iona for a market movers play.
I'll take the team total over. This one is not a full unit play for me, though. This is
no. I'm assuming that our market everything's basically 0.2 right now.
Yeah, I'll enter it for 0.2 at 76.5. I'm just hoping I'm not missing a 75.5 somewhere out there.
I'm gonna see what I can find on it. Oh, I can't because it's New York. How fun! I can't shop.
You can't play it. You can't shop on that. You have to use your offshore for that.
Yep.
Welcome to New York.
New York. Thanks, Taylor Swift.
Manhattan, Iona. Ooh, it's a home game. All right, fine. I'm gonna.
He's been active on Twitter this lately. That's hilarious. I did not know that. I should follow him.
76.5. I'll play over 76.5 for Iona.
Okay. Let's see what I have.
Done.
I have 76.5 as well. All right. I'm with you. Let's do it. We're in here. So we have two market movers plays. I will put them up in a little bit on the screen. I love this day. This is great. I'm having a ball. I would be much happier if we could catch this bet, but I have very low hopes after that initial run. And I'm not really score watching, or else I'd be screaming more. And Mike, 4-point game. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. That makes sense. Good. I like him at Iona. I think that makes this conference a lot of fun. It kind of puts a target on their back and makes, they're kind of be this like big, like dragon. They've only lost 2 games this entire season. So going to be exciting to see how they do. I think he wants to bring them a title. And who knows? Imagine if a Metro Atlantic team like made a huge run. That'd be so fun. Cook isn't playing tonight. Interesting. Thank you, Mr. Cassidy. All right, let's keep it going though. We've like barely gotten through anything today. I will definitely make sure that everybody gets my picks. If you just want to see them, obviously the Discord is the best place. All of Mike's model edges are posted. All of my picks are posted, and you just got to sub to the Twitch, which is free with Amazon Prime. So it's definitely worth it. I still do it. So if I do it and I literally like am part of Number Edge, I don't know why you wouldn't. But anyway, maybe one day Mike will comp that sub for me. We'll see. We'll see. I haven't been a good enough secretary. But okay. FIU, FAU. I mean, how many Florida International, Atlantic, Gulf Coast universities do we need? This is a pass. This is a big pass to me. FAU's been really disappointing, actually. So maybe take the points.
Yeah, this is a game I personally want no part of.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I
the
don't
line's
have it.
5. There's really like no point to play this.
Yeah.
Siena. This has been an interesting team this year. Niagara has been a little up and down. Siena getting the plus points is fascinating. They've been better in the conference. They are better in the conference. I would lean that way. I almost want to take it,
Ooh,
but
interesting.
this Niagara
Yeah.
team is decent at home. I don't know. Both these teams are like 50-50 against the spread when on the road or home, like whichever one they are this year. Like Siena 6-6 on the road, Niagara 4-4 at home. Feels like a coin flip. I don't bet on coin flips. Let's just move on.
Yeah, I'm totally out on that one.
Look, let me. I don't bet on coin flips at -110. I think it's an important distinction, right?
Yes.
We love coin flips. We love coin flips. If you can get, man, someone walks up to you and says, "Hey, I'll give you plus 102 on this coin flip." You take that bet, and that's better than like any sports bet you're going to get, which is hilarious to think of. And people sometimes are like, "You're dumb." That's not true, but it is. All right, Morgan Coppin State, Mike. You have the wrong team favored. Coppin's getting plus 1.5. They opened -1. Not really sure about the line movement here. I don't really know if maybe there's an injury. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that you blindly trust the model or you just totally fade the game. I
Coppin plus 2.5 now. Wow.
Yeah, I like it. And you just need to investigate and make sure we're not missing something incredibly key. The other interesting angle here that I want to talk about is where is the total in the market?
Back to
151.
7. God damn it.
Man, this is interesting. I really expected to maybe have a little more edge on the over. So the model doesn't necessarily support it. These teams play with some pace, man. They put up some points.
Yeah.
Obviously, the total is big at 152, but a game that scores 170 here is not going to shock me at all. A lot of pace, a lot of pace in this game. Yeah. Whew.
What do you think? What is it?
I like Coppin. I
Yeah.
do. I'll play Coppin. I'll make it an official market movers play, even if you want to, after investigating it.
Let's do it. We should be busy. It's a big day. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You can find +2. I think +2 is what people have. 2.5s at Bet Rivers only. Most books have +2. So,
yeah, the 2.5. Yeah. You might get 2.5. So I'm getting +2 at -105. I'll take the -105 there.
Yeah. So that makes our plays Cal plus 7.5. Iona team total over what 76
76.5. Yep.
And then that was -115. Cal's -110. And then the last one we just took was Coppin +2 -1. Okay. Boom. I was literally writing that out. You're welcome. Remember, most of can't get Discord. Why can't get Discord? That's what do you mean? You can get Discord. Everyone can get Discord free. And you just got to pay a couple bucks. And that's giving them out for free would just what would we be doing? But all right. And again, you can come watch a show and get it this way. That's obviously totally fine. That's what we're here for. If you want to get it this way, that's what it's here for. Let's come on, UTA. Please. Good steal. Attaboy. All right. Let's keep going. What do we got next? UC San Diego, CS Bakersfield, no interest. Army Lehigh, no interest. And this is an interesting one. Army is going to Lehigh for this game. This is a playoff game. So that is always something to think about. But I do lean Army, but I actually passed. I passed. Lehigh's been like interesting at home. Northern Colorado, Montana, no interest whatsoever. FGCU Bellarmine, which I pronounced correctly now. I'm a Yankee. I would say Bellarmine if I saw that on a piece of paper, and I did for years. But Bellarmine, FGCU got literally trounced by Norfolk the other day. I think like there's like a player for FGCU that if he's not in, they're terrible. So that's something to watch for. Bellarmine probably gets us done. I think it's maybe a pick there, but I'm all right.
Yeah.
Any thoughts? You're okay?
Yeah, I'm totally okay skipping that. Totally.
Yeah. Your model actually leans FGCU, so very interesting.
Yeah.
But all right, Grambling, hell no. Portland State, Idaho. I think I actually skipped this one today by accident, but maybe for the best. Portland State -3, you have -1. No real edge, no real reason to do anything here. This UT Arlington game, man, we would be up by 10 if they could have shot half decent early. I'm just going to put it out there.
They had a brutal swing there. They had a great possession, 3 rimmed out, would have cut it to 1, and now
it's going to go back to 7.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
It's already at 7. Yeah.
Good.
About to be 9 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not great. Plenty of time, clearly competing. We'll see what happens. Look, it was a lot worse a little while ago. At least they're fighting. I don't know. Would you rather have a loss that they don't come close or have them fight a little bit? I'd rather see them fight. Is there a camera trained on me? Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I am gonna be in LA for the first week of March Madness, and then I'm gonna be I'll be in New York for the second week, and then the third week I'll actually probably be in Tennessee with Mike. So I'm actually not gonna be around much, so it's gonna be hard to keep that camera trained. But all right, let's get to some of the other picks that we like today, since there's a lot.
Tulane is the game we got to talk about next, probably.
Yeah, that or this Illinois State, Indiana State over, Mike.
Okay, we could talk about that.
What do you think? 143.5. I don't know. Has it been tough? I feel like the model has always loved these totals.
The problem is, I like it. The problem is the market's moved in our favor or against us here now. It's now 145.
Wow.
So you love to see that. Obviously, you're a little late to it. If you looked at the simulations last night, maybe and found that edge, you could have bet it. But
Caesars still have 143.5, or is this just delayed?
Now, if that's the case, then I'd be more interested in doing it, seeing other books move to 145 if you're still getting the 143 on that edge. Let me pull it up and see. But on DraftKings, which is what I leave pulled up during the show.
Yeah, it's 145 there. It just got to 145. It's basically 144.5, I think, is consensus right now. But yeah, I grabbed 143.5 last night for myself.
It is still 143.5 on Caesars. If you have access to Caesars, I would like playing the over 143.5.
All right. So there's show play number 4.
Yep.
We're doing it. ILSTINDS 143.5 -110. I'll show all the plays in a little bit again. All right, let's keep it rolling. We're getting close to the hour here. I want to kind of do a couple things with my day. It's supposed to be my day off, and it never is. Never. Not 60 days. We're probably not going to be here tomorrow. So just so everybody knows, it's a much smaller slate. And today is awesome. Tomorrow, I think the games on tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 4th. It's like the worst conferences. It's Ohio Valley, Big South, Missouri Valley, Southern, which are all terrible. And the West Coast Conference is probably going to be the only like decent competition games. I guess we're going to get into later seeds, so maybe you'll see some of the top teams from those bad conferences. But
there are 2 interesting games tomorrow. It's St. Bonaventure, Richmond, and Bradley, Loyola, Chicago. Like that's it.
Yes, yes, correct. And after that, there's some playoff games, but like Murray State isn't even playing yet. You know, like they don't play till like I think they do play tomorrow. That might be tomorrow. But nonetheless, I think, Saturday, Sunday, a lot more fun. Monday, there's like 6 championships on Tuesday. 6 tickets will probably get punched Tuesday. I'd imagine we're here on Tuesday rather than, maybe Wednesday. Wednesday's crazy too, because all the Power 5, all the power conferences start on Wednesday. So it's going to be a busy week next week. We'll definitely be around with tournament plays. So yeah, but let's keep going here. Nothing really crazy. Oh yeah, Tulane UCF. We definitely need to talk about Tulane. I took Tulane +2. I really like this play. I think it's pretty obvious here. The wrong team's favored. Tulane has performed well at home this season. UCF, I don't get it. Maybe because they've been hot, right? The public just likes hot teams. Oh, they've been winning. Well, they're probably going to lose here. Tulane isn't bad. I don't know. This is definitely. I have this already up, so I don't really want to make it a show play here today. It is one of my sports line picks right now. Yeah.
So
out is interesting though. That's probably why.
Yeah, it is. That's why it's where it's at. Tulane covered the spread. They lost by 2 at UCF. It was a 7-point spread in that game. But yeah, Cook is the reason why it is where it is. Still an overreaction. I like if Cook were in, I would have Tulane favored by about 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I love to hear it. Definitely a play I really like. I think that they're still, the home team late in the season. It's getting home wins is the way to do it. I don't know. It is a little worrisome. I do know that road teams have been more profitable the last month in terms of just blindly betting. I think if you blindly bet home teams, you're losing more money than if you're blind betting away teams. Because I think the public does like home teams, and away teams usually get a little extra value. But yeah, no, interesting games there. Nothing else on this part of the sheet. Let's keep scrolling. There's a lot. Let's see. Marist, Canisius, you have a edge on -5 in your model, but I passed. Let's see what else do we have here. I like this Coastal Carolina team to get it done today. It's one of my picks on my sheet in the Discord. I do have Coastal Carolina -6. I don't think this Georgia Southern team is that good. I just don't.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's -5 on DraftKings right now, FYI.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I definitely like that. Wish I got that. I like this Loyola Maryland team to keep it close at Boston University. This is a playoff game here. I do think that's the Patriot. I could be wrong, but I do think it's the Patriot. And I don't know. Boston has struggled a little bit at home. Loyola is going to be fighting for their season. It seems like it's a good place to take 2.5 possessions, 2 and a hook. I'm doing that today. I'm also doing Long Beach. They've just been really hot. I'm happy to fade UC Davis. I've watched UC Davis. I've watched Long Beach. This should probably, I think the line's 5.5. So you have a point edge. This is one of those places for me where it's like, oh, this makes sense in my brain and the model has a slight edge. Let's just go get Long Beach here. I think Jacksonville is a big lean for me. So yeah, I like Jacksonville State here to get it done against Kennesaw in the second round here of that tournament. I don't really think there's a couple others. I do like UC Irvine as well. But where did it go? That's it. That's the end of the screenshot. Yeah, the screenshot does not, unfortunately, I can't scroll super deep on the screenshot, at least the screenshot tool that I'm using. Okay, that's how many games there are today. So obviously you can download the entire sheet. Yeah, we'll just look at the gross. I know you don't like it, Mike, but we'll take a look at the bottom like this. So yeah, we were here. It's just really the very bottom, but I think this very bottom has some interesting stuff in it. Honestly, Lipscomb Liberty has a strong overlean, I believe. UTA players got Zaza Pachulia. Oh God, he is limping pretty hard. That's not good. I don't even want to know the score, Mike. I'm not even watching. I'd just be annoyed. Okay. 5 points. Okay, I'm not mad. Definitely in the balance, way more so than it was. Can you imagine if they just didn't shoot that badly to start the game? How hard is it to not shoot 3 of 21? Come on. One more bucket. Stop it. They just called a foul there. I like the defensive play. I thought he had a block. Yeah. Well, what do we got? 10 minutes left in this game? Yeah, we'll go. I'm watching golf personally. I'm following golf a lot more.
Mr. Maverick McNeely just missed an eagle putt. He birdied back-to-back holes though, so we're tied now. He was down by 3 strokes at one point.
There we go.
We're tied.
Look, sports, you never count anything out, man. Not in March. But all right, some of the edges that you still have on this end of the page here, Mike. UMES minus 10.5. You have 14.3. Delaware State's bad, but they're also super high variance, right? So
yes. These ones, once the spread gets over, I mean, I want to say 10, but it's really around 12.5, 13. Once it gets to that point, they become incredibly fragile when they're not like the 25 point spreads. That spread that's like between 13 and 20 becomes incredibly fragile. And you should not treat that 3 to 4 point model edge the same as a team that we have minus 2.5 that is getting 2.5 in the market. Those two things should not be treated the same.
Yeah, relative edge is definitely very important. I don't think I would have included the UMES play here if it wasn't like a solid like 4 points. I don't think I would have put it on the edge sheet if it was 2.5. I wouldn't put it on the edge sheet if it was 3. But once you get past 3.5 and you're under 15 points, I still think it's worth some merit. Again, the line's only 10.5. It's not like your line, sure, Mike, is 14.5, but the actual line is 10.5. Right. Yep. So I think this is really right there. I do think UMES gets it done. Oh,
they missed it. They've had threes that have been down and out, at least 3 of them since I've been watching.
Frustrating. Look. Clearly they could be leading this game. It seems quite obvious to me with that bad start and all the misses right now. I don't even want to know the shooting percentages, but I'm going to pain myself and look at it. It looks like they're still shooting 23%, 27.3 versus 40. They're 4 for 18 from 3 versus 8 for 14, and they're only down 6.
Yeah.
Shot quality worth a sub. I guess it depends how much you're going to use it. It's definitely a very different model. It's going to have a lot of different results than Mike's, and can lead to a lot of conflicts. Now, does that mean that maybe the plays that they agree on might hit with a super high rate? Maybe. But yeah, I really like the information. It's very, very different information, and it definitely helps me when I'm like stuck and I want to know how another person's looking at it. So I do have a membership, but this is also like my job.
So I want to comment on that too, just because I think it's super interesting.
Yeah.
I will say, yes, it's incredibly valuable. And I actually admittedly am not sub to it. I just look at because I follow and play my own stuff personally. It's just what I do. However, if the roles were reversed and I was someone in the chat who is trying to find betting advice, trying to find data, I would much sooner pick one, whether it's me, Sportsline, KenPom, one of those or 2 of those that you like, and then go get that other source of data at shot quality. What you don't likely need, this is just my opinion, you don't need a 7th service that is projecting and simulating a basketball game the exact same way that KenPom and everyone else is. You don't need that. Once you've got a couple of them, you don't need another one. But introducing this new piece of data that is certainly revolutionary, it is definitely changing the game and will change the game and how we simulate these games over the next 5 years. I have no doubt about that.
Simon's like a kid out of Colgate, he's not even older than me. He graduated like 2 years ago or something, or even last year. I think he might have graduated from Colgate last year, which is kind of funny. I went to Hamilton, so we went to school like 10 minutes away from each other. But sharp kid. I think over 60 teams in Division I actually work directly with them for some of his metrics. He takes shot metrics, right? And then he basically coded a system that looks at various different types of things, spacings on the floor, various types of like distance from defenders. I don't even know how the metrics work, but very, very cool. But yeah, I definitely like it. It's definitely worth it. I think, if you're going to choose a few, shot quality, KenPom, and Mike's model are probably a really nice power trio. You probably don't need to worry about like a D ratings or a Massey or a Hasla or a Sagarin. Like those all kind of are similar to how Mike does it. Again, you kind of want Ken Palm because it's the control, and you want to know like what everyone else is seeing and what the market's going off of, because everybody uses Ken Palm. And then you maybe want one or two edge systems like Mike's or like shot qualities, and then learn them, right? Spend a lot of time with them, watch their results, track their results, track the results that you think are going to be good, track the results that you think are going to be bad. Like, learn how these models succeed, where they fail, where they work in tandem, and then you're going to start developing a whole new breed of edges that nobody else has, and you can start to set yourself apart. Kind of fun. But all right.
Last comment on that. Yeah, I want to say that like Sportsline model is going to be a little different. Mine's going to be different. Shot quality is going to be different. The rest of them are going to be very, very, very similar because they're all modeled the exact same way. So that, do with that what you will. For me personally, it would be obviously have the Sportsline membership, consult that, look at the experts, look at the data, and see where they all align. But then something like the way I do things, something like the way Shot Quality does things, definitely like I would consider one of those two more than trying to pick all 6 of like the Ken Palm, Sager, and all the others, just because in my opinion, I think that they're all the same. Yeah.
I mean, my system is an aggregation system that essentially uses machine learning to find edges and like aggregates and aggregates like, Mike's model, Sagarin, I think it's using it, and then it learns like where to take better edges from, right? So I do that, like that whole idea of taking shot quality and looking what they say and comparing it to the final results and comparing it to like, oh, well, when Mike stinks, like shot quality is awesome. And so, in this scenario or on underdogs or like, because you can just make like so many data points, like there's 1,000,001 data points in college basketball. So I kind of blend things and create my own weighted metric to sort of trend towards which ones are doing better. And look, my model is on its 2nd season ever. So I'm looking to build a website, have the data up maybe for next year, something I'm into entertaining. But right now it's slowly also looking like it's just going to become the way I pick. So it might just be me picking, like, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's finish up here. I love UTA. I love North Texas. Minus 13.5 is where I played it this morning. Love that pick. Man, UTA can't hit a gosh darn thing. It's time for me to start sweating. I also think Eastern Washington's interesting, but Northern Arizona's been pesky, so I passed. Yeah, honestly, nothing else here. I think we have a good amount of picks. My plays again are on the Discord. I've talked about most of them. Some of the games, again, Mike doesn't have all the games on his model today. Right. So a couple of those that maybe we didn't talk about. I do like Robert Morris plus 12. I do like Hawaii plus 7. Utah Valley is an interesting one for me today. That's probably going to end up on Sportsline. But before we go, we talked Kansas TCU. I think we are staying away, but I think maybe we lean Kansas. Not sure.
I lean TCU at the new number because it's ballooned up to 12.5. Right, once you get over 12.5, 13, then I'll start to be interested in TCU. The model edge is there to play it on TCU. It's just one that I'm a little cautious with because they just played each other. Kansas just got beat. Kansas is much stronger at home in Allen Fieldhouse. It's an edge that the model likes, but it's, in my opinion, fragile. So I tend to not bet the other side by any means, just simply avoid the game and then look for in-game opportunities. But if you forced me to play it, I would play TCU plus 12.5 right now.
Yep, I agree. I think that's probably the way to do it, but I'm good. What about Arizona Stanford here? This is a fascinating game, and I'm taking the points plus 19. Yeah, I mean, Stanford coming off that big loss to Cal, they scored under 40 points in the game.
Yeah, no, I get it too. And at this point in the year, it's just get the win and get out. Yeah. But yeah, I don't mind it.
I think everyone's going to be looking at Arizona coming off of that huge 20-point win against USC. And they're like, oh, it's 20 points. They just beat USC by that. This is a good ranked team, and Stanford just lost. Well, that's too easy. It's not how it works. It's going to be contested around that number. I think it probably comes in around 15, 16 points. So I'm going to take the plus 19. And I have a really busy day. Like, yeah, UTA sucks. I'm pissed off about the way that start happened, but there is so much more left on the board today for me. This is literally one of 15, 16 plays that I have up. So, look, we're going to try to come up ahead at the end of the day, and we'll probably be back for some market movers Monday or Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday for sure. We're going to skip tomorrow. We talked about, it's just such a small slate, terrible slate tomorrow. So we'll be back soon. Maybe a Twitter Spaces over the weekend. We'll see.
Maybe.